the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walk.
One thing you should understand about me is that I am very much an old man when it comes to video games. I was a child of the 80s, and I distinctly remember when the NES was as good as it got, and we were fine with that. Things did improve from there, but for me the N64 in 1996 marked the last time that I was truly excited about the market. For instance, I know the phrase "the cake is a lie" comes from a game called Portal, but I have no idea what it means. That's not to say I didn't keep up with the industry for a bit longer, and I even enjoyed a few of the games that were put out. One of those was Jak and Daxter, a very fun platforming game from Naughty Dog, the people best known for Crash Bandicoot. The title characters are a pair of lazy kids who inevitably start playing where they shouldn't, and this results in Daxter taking a dip in a substance called Dark Eco, which turns him into this thing called an Ottsel. His only hope is a wizard who just so happens to live on the other side of the continent they live on, and there's your game. Jak and Daxter have to cross the whole continent, bringing along their mentor, guardian, whatever, the green eco-sage Samos, and this girl named Kira, who I naturally assumed was going to be Jak's love interest, but nothing ever happens, at least in this first game, and that was actually really refreshing. Something that was just starting around this time was that the storylines in video games were starting to be taken more seriously. RPGs have been around since the industry started, but by 2001, when this game came out, every game seemed to be given some kind of story, and naturally some worked better than others. And this is one of the better ones. The focus through the whole thing was clearly just to have fun with a bunch of jokes, but the background world is treated just seriously enough that you can actually care about the characters and you want them to succeed. They even throw in a third act plot twist which I did see coming but still works well and gives the game a real sense of urgency from that point on, where you want to finish as fast as possible just to see what happens. Part of that world building is how well integrated the different power-ups are. They're all a form of a substance called eco, which is some kind of energy source left behind by an ancient civilization. I already mentioned dark eco as what Daxter fell into, and there's also various patches of it along the way that will hurt you, but that's balanced out by green eco that restores your health. There's also blue, which makes you faster and lets you use various tools, usually in the form of flying platforms, and yellow, which is essentially the game's version of a fire flower. The presence of all four is very well balanced, with none really feeling superfluous or being wanted when they're not there. Also well integrated is the infamous insurmountable waist-high fence, the point in a video game where there's a barrier you should be able to easily get through, but the game doesn't want you to, so you're stuck. This game has 3 of those, but at each of them you're given a very good reason why you can't go any farther at the moment. Sure, the solution is just the usual getting a certain amount of a certain kind of item, but at least they made the effort. I picked this as a roundtable about silent protagonists, and in this case that's referring to Jak. He's the classic heroic mime, a guy who lets his fists and feet do the talking, but there's also Daxter to consider, and I guess you could kinda say this selection is cheating since he basically functions as Jak's mouth through the whole game.
Are you gonna keep yapping, or are you gonna help me out of this mess? Well, we've got the brave adventurer at least. Hey, baby, what do you say you and I go cruising on this A-Grab Zoomer?
I've heard some people find him incredibly annoying to a Chris Kattan or Dane Cook level, but I don't really mind him, and I actually do find him funny more often than not. The one place he gets a little tiresome is in the animations when you die. I know I screwed up, so does the game have to rub it in like this? Anyway, he's not nearly as annoying as Kira, whose actress actually seems to be going through puberty in real time with a number of times her voice cracks.
All I would need is 20 power cells to give it enough energy to withstand the canyon's heat.
Where are a boy and a half going to get 20 power cells?
From the villagers. Most of them have a power cell or two stashed away somewhere. Great! You have the 20 cells needed to power my heat shield.
That's another reason I was relieved there's no romance with her. The game was a huge hit and got several sequels. I've heard they get much darker, and they also have Jak talking, but personally I don't really care about them. Like I said, I'm not really into video games, but this game by itself gave me exactly what I wanted. It's a fun platforming game with great gameplay variety, and also one of the most natural difficulty curves I've ever seen. I'm sorry this is a bit on the short side, but that's really all I have to say about this kind of thing. I liked it, I'm sure a lot of people will like it, it has very broad appeal, and I was happy with it.